Minasan, okarinasai. Today I will be recapping everything, well hopefully everything, that happened in the Bushiroad franchises, including songs, lives, guest appearances, stage plays, and anime from all groups within Bangdream, D4DJ, RevStar, and Assault Lily. And real quick, yes, I'll still be covering D4DJ in this as well. If you're curious as to why I'm clarifying this, well, I'll explain during that section. Now, a year is a long time, and I'm just one person, so I'm bound to have forgotten something important. I hope not, but if so, feel free to mention it down below. Now, let's start this shiz. Just a few quick Bushiroad company-related things. Aiba and Nishio represented the company at the Bushiroad Expo in Indonesia. Aiba alone was at Bushiroad Expo in Malaysia. Hinaoki and Rintata Ishii were guests at the Bushiroad Expo in Singapore, and then Nishio alone was at the Bushiroad Expo in Thailand. Coincidence that all four of these girls are in the Hibiki agency? Probably not. I can almost guarantee there is some sort of contract behind the scenes, and I'm very surprised Amane wasn't at any of these events. On to Bangdream. The Bangdream Dreamers Tunes, hosted by Aina Aiba and Moi Toyota, is still ongoing, even having some fun guests on for a few episodes throughout the year. The franchise had two joint lives, Divide Unite having Popipa and MyGo, then Roselia and Ave Mujica having Steel Knocked, Rosen Knocked. This one actually having two shows. Well, the second hasn't happened yet, but it will be in mid-February and the show will be in Shanghai, China. Then in just a few days here in 2025 will be another crossover live, but with a non-Bandori group, when MyGo performs with Togenashi Togaari from girls band Cry. Then in April, MyGo again will have a 2-day joint live with Ave Mujica. We only got one new covers album, this one being Volume 5, having 3 tracks from all the groups up to Morphonica. Though for some reason my version doesn't have the Tokyo Teddy Bear cover from Roselia. Bit odd, but shoutouts to Pastel Palettes doing Idol. How fitting. With the bottom track Yell being covered by a big assortment of ladies that I'll just show rather than listing off. MyGo and Ave Muji were not included in this CD because they had their own mini cover collection extra volume. Ave Muji literally gets all the best songs. With Poppin' Party, here are the new tracks for the year. Ignore the crossed out one, that was a release from 2023. But the wiki always has a whack order with releases. Atarashi Kinetsu ni, or In a New Season, being the 19th single, coupled with Hona and Chuchuin. Tremolo Eyes and Tarinai both served as the 20th single. Then those bottom 4 songs all just had short versions, with the full ones coming out in 2025 on their newest 3rd album, Popigenic, releasing in late February by the way. As for covers not in the big album, there were these 3, which all only have game-size versions right now, so I'm sure Volume 10 of Bandroid covers is coming soon. With lives, the ladies were at Animax Musics for the fall show, having their 12th live, Poppin' Canvas, pretty late in the year honestly, and even busting out some acoustic for 2 tracks. May of 2025 will give us their 13th solo live and the celebration of their 10th anniversary, which will be performed at the Budokan of course. And that's it for their section in 2024. I don't want to doom post them or anything, but you should probably mentally prepare for some sort of retirement announcement soon. Maybe even at this 10th anniversary live, honestly. Roselia were at both Lucky Fest and Countdown Japan, also being the opening act for Ave Mujica's 4th live. As for their own live shows, a big tour titled Rosenchor, 6 shows at 6 different venues in 5 different prefectures, half of which being 2-day shows from February till August. The final show, the one in August, actually being in Shanghai. I would also like to shout out the June show in Tokyo on day 2. Aiba's mic straight up cutting out during Firebird, so the crowd just sang the song for a solid minute. The video was even posted to YouTube, so now everyone can experience this awesome moment and a big reminder of how awesome fans can be. Also, if you do watch the video, take note of her bandmates not even phased that her mic stopped. Absolute professionals. With music, the ladies had their 3rd full album, Fier et Mer, which for the most part was older songs now on a proper album. But these top 4 here being the new tracks on the CD. Then the bottom 2 songs being their 15th single, Ishizue no Hana Kanmari being the title track, and Frontier Fantasia being the coupling track. With covers that I didn't already show in Volume 9, there are 2 game versions of Hitomania, which isn't an any song, but also Fatal, the opening for Oshinoko Season 2. Really looking forward to that. Reza Seelen was a little more active than these last 2 groups, being guests at Lucky Fest and Nagano Aniera, having their Asia tour in March, which consisted of a singular show in Taipei, Taiwan, and a 2-day show in Shanghai. Bandori fans over there are really eating good lately. A few months after this was their show Essentials. The setlist was basically all chosen by fans, being the essential songs. For my non-English speakers, that means the 10 songs that you must listen to. Though Riot wasn't on the set list, arguably the song that you should listen to from them. but okay. Also, this title font looks like it should say Spider-Man. Anyway, they had more shows, another tour in fact, starting really late in the year, in early December, titled Pandemonium. Really good title. This is an ongoing Zepp tour, having 2 shows in December, and currently another 3 in January. When it comes to music, like the others, a new album, their second one, titled Savage. Again, mostly serving as a place for old individual tracks to be compiled into an album, and the newer songs being Battle Cry, Ray of Hope, Life on the Lotus, and VIP Monster. With these bottom 3 tracks, Welcome to Pandemonium being their 12th single, coupled with Bad Kids All Bet. Odd title, had to double check that one. This is being released fairly recently. And then there was Vivid Time being a song that currently only has a game version. With covers, the new tracks not on the Volume 9 covers are Soul Soup from the Spy Family movie and Bling Bon Bon Born from Mashal, which I am extremely excited to hear their full version of. Both of these unfortunately only being game versions for now, but again, when Covers Volume 10 comes out, I think it's pretty obvious that they'll be on there. Then for this year of 2025, in just a couple of months, they will be at the Mega Vegas show, hosted by the band Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This being their 2nd or 3rd time there, and they even had a joint live with the group a few years ago. Morphonica, as far as I can tell, were not guests at any events, but they did have 2 live shows last year. Forte in April, and FF in October. Shoutouts to Final Fantasy. It's definitely not a reference to that, but shoutouts anyway. And they are going to have another new live this April. With their new music, we got this stuff here. Ryo Yoko no Brilliance being their 6th single, coupled with Ongai Shino Serenade and Sokyo Aino Trail. Wreath of Brave and Tempest being their double 7th single. Then we got Mary Mary Thanks at the top there, along with the bottom 2 tracks, Chili Monica and Polyphonyscape. Why did I say it like that? It's Polyphonyscape. It's late, I'm tired, and I had a big workout today, okay? Sorry. And don't make fun of the way I say sorry because I'm Canadian. Also, like I said a minute ago, the ordering on the wiki is crazy sometimes. Though the company also releases songs in a weird way, so whatever, I guess it balances out. Anyway, these 3 tracks will be on the group's 2nd album, Polyphony, coming out in March. Polyphony. Sounds so fake. Okay, I'm just dragging this out now. I'm sorry I'm not funny. To end their section, their next 2 covers will be Yusha from Frieren and Rondo Revolution from Revolutionary Girl Utena. Utena? No, it's definitely Utena. My Go were at Lee Sani at the Budokan, their first time at that grand stage, also being at the Rockin' Japan Fest and Japan Jam. Not to mention Anisama on day 2, actually performing right after Aimi. They had their Zepp tour from February to April, having 4 shows in different cities. Then the 6th Live in July, having a special bonus show in Shanghai in September. And then 7th Live recently on December 22nd, though Mika had to miss out on this event due to the flu. This show was actually even opened by a newer-ish group that I will be going over in a few minutes. Then, as I said earlier, in just a few days, a Void Note will be the live with the ladies of Girls Band Cry. They had a fair amount of new music, the double single Sasurai and Kaiso being their 4th. And then we have these 8 songs, Panorama being the 5th single, coupled with Refrain and Kokoro. These, along with the bottom 5 tracks, all being on their 2nd album, Michinoku. Speed and Adayume serving as the ending themes for their 2 recap movies that also came out this year. As for covers, most of these actually came out this year, and some are only in the game for now. However, on the right there, Zatobokura no Machi actually being originally sang by Toganashi Togahari. Looking forward to them singing that together at their live. Now we have Abe Muchika, who had a big year, being at Mega Vegas, Billy Billy Macro Link, 802 Palette, Anisama on day 1, and then Animax Music's Fall Edition. They had their first proper live in January, their 2nd live in June and July, 3rd live in October, and 4th live in December. That's all fine and dandy, but this could have just been all one tour. But it's very clear the company wants the group to have close to the same amount of numbered lives as My Go, despite debuting 2 years later. Anyway, February 2nd will be their special live, Kill Kiss, named after their newest single. Their 2nd single, which will be out on the 15th of this month. Other tracks of 2024 include Everything Else on the right side, All Symbols, and Ether being on their album, Elements. Then on the left, ignore the crossed out song from last year, we have Subarashiki Sakai being their first proper single, coupled with Angles. Then the covers, they actually only have the 3 that were on the bonus covers album. And now we have Mugendai Mewtype, which is a somewhat newer group that is all virtual. I'll give you a quick TLDR before I talk about their year. The group was auditioned for back in 2022, technically was formed in 2023, but really got their push in 2024. They have 5 members as always. I'm just going to show you these rather than introduce them, as I'm pretty sure we don't even know who the live performers are. Well, I couldn't find the info at least. But something you'll notice about their composition is that there is no bass player or a drummer. A very odd, unique choice, and even though they are a virtual group, when they perform live, obviously there are real human beings on stage. I feel like this is Bangdream's answer to Love Live's Hasuno Sora. But now let's talk about their year. These girls being the opening act for the recent My Go 7th live, but they also had their own first live in August on my birthday. Hell yeah. Then a tour of sorts labeled as their regular concert, having 3 shows in 3 different months. Those being October, November, and December, and then mid-February will serve as their second full live, and it will have 2 shows on the same day. Some D4DJ stuff right there. All of their songs except for that first one releasing in 2024. Then they have a whole bunch of covers that you can see here. I didn't go through every single song, but it seems each track is covered by an individual girl rather than the group as a whole. And as you can see, some of these songs are other Bangdream tracks. I will most likely do a video on them way later in the year, maybe even grouped up with Afterglow, Hello Happy World, and Pastel Palettes. Speaking of Pastel Palettes, their new music includes these. The top 5 tracks from Everyday Flower down to Toridori Palettes, all being on their first mini album, Iro Toridori. And the bottom 3 all being event songs in the game, with the middle one only being released on apps right now. Covers include these 3 here. I crossed off the 3 on the new covers album, with these other 5 actually only being in the game for now. Now for something really exciting, the Cuties will have their first event in about 4 years, titled Together in late February, which I do believe will be Ami's first appearance since coming back. Gonna be exciting, gonna be emotional. Afterglow actually had their first event in like 4 years, titled After School Event UK no Ichi PG. I have never seen the Japanese word PG in my life, so that must be a mistranslation. Maybe it's meant to be PG, like the letters in English, like the rating. But it's already a PG franchise, so that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, this was in April, having all 5 lovely members. I love them all. Really nice seeing Sachika on stage again. Kato is a legend. Hikasa is even more of a legend. Hisako, actually I am admittedly not familiar with, but she is Sailor Mercury, and that's pretty cool. Then Ayane Sakura, an all-time favorite of mine, and many others. Simping aside, their new music includes these 9 tracks, with half of them, Ignite, Made My Day, Petrichoir Ovation, Sansan, and That's Why I'm Here, being on their first ever mini album, Wasare Renai Hibi no Koto. These bottom 4 all being in-game event songs for now, except for Start As Usual, which should be available on your local music apps. With covers, all of them have yet to be released outside of the game, aside from Ao no Sumika, which was on Covers Volume 9. Some of these tracks may also have even released in late 2023, but yeah. Last up, the Carnival Ladies, housing another bunch of my favorite people ever, Hello Happy World. They had no events in 2024 and currently have nothing lined up for 2025, unfortunately. But with music, similar to the last 2 groups, these 3 always getting the same-ish amount of content, Doshitate Carnival being their first mini-album. The top 5 songs being on it, the crossed-out one being from last year, and then the bottom 2 are their event songs, with Listen to Smile being the one that's already released. These being their unreleased covers, most of which coming out in 2024 in the game. Shoutouts to Maya Uchida's Gimme Revolution and Kura Kura from Spy Family, which I'm now realizing these girls actually cover both season openings. That's really cool. And that's it for Bangdream, so let's move on to the next franchise, D4DJ. And I'll start off with the big thing, why I had to clarify that I'm still covering the group. The whole company transferred management to Donuts Inc., who has been associate for years but mostly focused on the game. So this is now technically not a Bushiroad franchise, but I'm still going to cover them always and keep associating them with it. Over on their official YouTube channel, they posted live performances of songs from all the groups throughout the year, but more Pkey than any others. Based. It's me, I'm running the channel. Now if I was, it would be Photonmaiden every day, all day, forever. Now we have a group concert, the D4 Fest Crossbeat, which was a 2-day festival in May, having the groups somewhat split between the 2 days. Day 1 having Photonmaiden, hell yeah, Rondo, Lyrical Lily, and Abyssmare, with Pkey and Unicorn serving as a special guest so they could perform their duet tracks with Photonmaiden and Abyssmare respectively. Day 2 had Pkey and Unicorn for their full proper sets, as well as Mermaid and Happy Around, having Lily and Rondo back as special guests. Mermaid performing with both of these groups for a song each back to back, and then Happy Aura doing their track with Lily. Amazing live, honestly. The D4 fests are always god tier. Speaking of that, thankfully, the next fest, titled D4DJ Large Scale Live, is scheduled to be at the Budokan, I assume around May. I actually forget if there was a date announced yet. Next, as always, as I just talked about, the franchise loves to have the units cross over for lives and tracks, which I enjoy very much. I'm sure the goal is making sure every unit has a song with every other unit, which I think they are about halfway done now. 2024 gave us number 1 and only with Pkey and Abyssmare. Vital Sign had Happy Around with Unicord. Over with Photonmaiden and Rondo, we got the Hashinputo of the Cinders, which I always feel like I'm saying wrong, and I probably did again. And finally, Metamorphose with Mermaid and Lyrical Lily, who I do believe were the first 2 units to have a joint live, which feels like a lifetime ago now. Like with Bangdream, we always get covers. The Groovy Mix Covers album Volume 9 came out in April, giving us 2 new covers from each unit, aside from the 2 newer ones that only got 1 each. Shoutouts to Mermaid covering Rass's Exposed Burnout, and Lyrical Lily covering Trisail's Adrenaline. There are actually 2 more covers that I would like to mention real quick, those being Onagai Muscle from How Heavy Are the Dumbbells, having Mermaid's Dahlia and Sayori, Pkey's Yuka, and Photon's Ibuki. Then we have Kawaii Kute Gomen, which actually was released in the game this year, covered by the special unit Qtopia, having Photon's Saki and Noah, Lyrical Lily's Kuromi, and Happy Around's Mooney. Speaking of Happy Around, let's talk about them next. Kagami and Mimura represented the group at Niku Fest, as well as Kotori Fest, an event hosted by Unicorn's Kotori Koiwai. Their new tracks include Adventure Summer Days, coupled with Mordoki, and their newest album, Are You Happy? I'm Happy. An album having a lot of old music redone to include Maiko's voice instead of Shizaki's, but also including the new songs I Love Korean Rice, Serious Harmony, as well as Feeling Good Day, and then having these covers as well. Happy Full Colorful Days and 4 Pieces of Cake. These titles are killing me, but they are legit. The last 2 both being in-game event songs, by the way, with no proper releases yet. One more song-related thing, Happy Melty Party was the title for something known as an instrumental theme. Something all units had, a new song made by a musician using the girls' already sampled voices in the track. This one in particular produced by someone named P. Light. I think this person would have been better for a Pkey, but that's just my opinion. As for live shows with Happy Ada, well, nothing in 2024, but for 2025, they've already got their next show lined up. With Pkey, the whole squad was at the Kimchikura Fest Volume 3, then just Seiyuu was there for the second volume version. There was the Peaky Force Tour, having 2 performances each day, in Osaka, Nagoya, and Saitama, and they were one of the groups to be on both days of the D4 Fest Crossbeat. These top 3 songs were their new releases, Peaky Force being their image track for their tour, and my personal favorite track of the entire year. Then Hanamuke and Never Lose being new tracks on their second album, Triumphal, with these bottom 2 songs not being properly released yet, though I assume it'll be very soon. And their instrumental theme by DJ Notiken was called Rave into Peaky Vibes. A little bonus for them, the D4DJ channel had their weekly radio show, though it was voice only, so we didn't get to see their pretty faces. They did, however, always take pictures of it though. And a little fun fact, the other members went to visit Aimi for one of her solo shows. With Photonmaiden, Iwata and Nanaki represented the group at the second Kimchikura event. Their second live, Ship's Log, was right at the end of 2023, and was the full live debut of Kon and Nanaki, so I decided to re-mention it again. 2024 didn't give us a solo live from them, but they were on day 1 of the Crossbeat, performing the duet song with Rondo. Their instrumental song was Spark of Photon, produced by Aran, and their newest single, Friendship, had its full proper release, which is a very fun song. Very different from their normal sound, but still really good. They also had a re-release of the track 24 having Nanaki's vocals instead of Ami's. And then these 4 tracks here. No new album for them yet, but it will be releasing in February, titled For Un Voyage. I would also like to assume they will have a live, probably towards the end of the year again. Mermaid had their 6th live Summer Killer win in July, always in the summer, them being who they are, it is very fitting. Their instrumental track was Discordant Mermaid, produced by a massive new crew. They had the song Max, coupled with Start, having their full proper release, and then the new tracks Win Win, Give Attention, and Cutout are all technically released, but just the short versions in the game. Then for just a fun thing, they posted a dance practice video for High Tension BPM onto the YouTube channel, the D4DJ YouTube channel that is, and I may have watched it many times. Last up for them is their 7th live Heavenly Mix that will happen around the time this video goes up. Rondo was at Lucky Fest for their 2nd time, maybe even their 3rd. Their instrumental track was titled Rinka by Graham. They had no D4DJ shows aside from Crossbeat, but something very important to mention with them is that Sai Otsuka actually left the group, I assume to focus on her solo career. And naturally, not long after, we got the new Seiyuu for Nagisa, that being Shuri Miyumi. With music, they had Ama Oto coupled with Blooming Rose in Another World, which both got their full release. Then Last Song and Bloody Mary had their in-game releases. I assume these will be on the unit's new album that will also be releasing in just a few days. Lyrical Lily had their 4th live, A Treasurable Day. They even went into the crowd to interact with some fans during a song. I think this is the first time D4DJ has ever done that. Prior to this was actually a fan meet in late March, which I also think is a first. Song releases include a Midsummer Morning's Dream being their full release, and then game versions of the Prank Statement, Be Not Defeated by the Summer, and Cutely Do You Live. Those are also some very odd titles, but now let's move on to the newer faces of the franchise, starting with Unicord. Akari alone represented the group at Kotori Fest. Technically Kotori was there too, obviously, but it was her fest and I don't think she was in character. Aside from that, the girls had no performances outside of D4 Fest, so new music includes New Year Entropy, Tokyo Otaku Date coupled with Kogetsu, which is actually a track only sang by half the unit, that being Kokowa and Hayate. Then technically Buzz Zombie came out on the very last day of the year, but only in the game. Also in the game only is the cover of Internet Yamero, which is from the game Needy Streamer Overload. Then their instrumental track was Universe Chord, produced by Getty. With Abysmare, Yuka alone represented the group at the Nichigen Expo in Malaysia. Their instrumental track was Lost in the Abyss, good title, produced by DJ Miosuke. They had their very first solo live titled Arc in August, only having a singular performance. The song Arc being one of their newest tracks, though this along with Now or Never have not been released yet, being in-game exclusives for now, but Access the World coupled with Bye Lullaby did have a release and can be listened to. And that's it for them. But before I move on to the next franchise, I will now actually be covering 2 more units that debuted in 2024. I originally was not too interested in them until I did this research, and now I am actually very excited for the future of these girls. First up, we have Ego Egg, and they have really cool designs. These girls are labeled as the beginning for Generation 2 of D4DJ, which is a little odd to me. I feel like Unicord and Abysmare should have been the first to debut the next generation, but anyway. From left to right, we have Harai Kanda, the guitarist, played by Sakura Yoshida, Mikumo Ichinohashi, the vocalist, played by Miyu Koshiba, Raika Shiodome, the DJ, played by Momoka Uragawa, and Jiyu Tanemichi, played by Mio Aoi, being the synth bassist. Here they are again in the same order, and if you didn't notice, not only is this group another one with a live instrument performer, it's actually the first one to have 2. These girls do not have pages on the wiki, and it seems they are musicians rather than seiyuu. I did find some minor info on them, but nothing I feel confident in sharing. If you're curious, you can Google their names, and you should be able to find social media accounts for Sakura, Miyu, and Momoka. I'm sure Mio has one too somewhere, I just couldn't find it. And yes, they have someone named Miyu and Mio, so it could get a little confusing. They apparently have these 6 original songs, though only the top one has a page, which is basically empty. And they only have one cover titled Over, which could literally be anything, so yeah, no concrete details yet. As for live shows, well, they have these, half of them being at festivals. Shoutouts to Any Rave Fever, lots of cool people over there. And I actually even got to see the very first performance of theirs at the Idolfest Grand Prix. Online, I mean, not in person, but if you're interested, you should be able to find it around the internet. Then they also had their regular performances, volumes 1 through 5, with Miyu having to miss out on volume 1 due to sickness. I think she actually missed out on volume 5 as well. Now the final unit for the D4DJ recap is the other new one, a Bad Cynic Doggo, originally known as Mad Doggo, which was I guess a fine name, but now they got this whole ABCD thing going on, even if the name is complete whack. With these girls from left to right, we got Date-chan, that is simply her name right now, played by Akira Sekine, Belle Besio, played by Saya Aizawa. She's actually very cute, holy, and so is the character, so that's some good casting right there. Upon further research, she is actually a Uma Musume and Idolmaster Cinderella Girls performer as well. Next is Amy Azai, played by none other than Ruby Hoshina herself, Yuria Igomi. And last up is Shiga Shimazu, played by Konami Tamura. All of these girls actually being in well-respected agencies, so I have high hopes for this group. Also in lore, both of these units go to the same school, that being Fue High School. As of writing this, these ladies only have 2 songs, Get on the Top and Buzz Yuri Bite You, another crazy name, but they have no covers and no lives yet. Nothing listed at least. Also, all songs from both units don't seem to be on streaming, so I assume that they are game exclusive, aside from maybe being on the D4DJ YouTube channel. And now it's time to move on to the next franchise, Revue Starlight. The main ladies of Starlight Kukugumi performed at the Peace Live on day 2. They had the new musical called Wartime of Goodbyes, basically being a take on Romeo and Juliet, having 8 of the main Kukugumi, not having Memori, but instead having Kana Nanaki. Sigfeld had a new stage play, Remains, as well as Klenoid, and a new album will be out sometime in 2025. And then Seiren had their Baby Blue stage. And last for 2024 was the Edel Bune, a reading drama having the main Sigfeld ladies, Hotaru, Yuka, Yume, Hikaru, and Haruka. Oh wait, actually there was a second reading of Haru Kanaru El Dorado, which they also did back in 2023, having half of Kukugumi reading as like Spanish military officers. With albums, they had 3 releases, Star Darling being the main theme for the El Dorado drama, and the rest of the stuff was also being tied to that series. Not me totally forgetting about the big Sports Day festival, so I'm just adding this in now basically as the video is done. This was a singular big event, a sports day, I'm sure that's pretty self-explanatory, having like 80% of the cast of this event split up into 4 teams. These 4 being the captains, and it was just a really cool thing to watch. Blue team, led by Maho Tomita, coming out on top. The only bad thing was that Risa Sumagi had to miss out due to getting sick a few days before the event. As a little bonus, I will also mention the very recent 4th Star Live, Starry Ocean, that happened just a few days ago. Now real quick, the final franchise of the video, Assault Lily, which had a bunch of new stage plays, like the Bond with the White Rose, as well as Last Bullet, Lily's Dream and Party, and New Chapter, giving us a bunch of new recruits like Hazuki Tanda and Koko Hayashi. There was also Lily Scramble Live, Flowers of Twilight, and The Snowdrop. Some names you may recognize, like Rimi Nishimoto and Hinaki Yano being at a few of these, as well as Hina Suguta, Kaori Maeda, Hamane Shindo, and others, along with one of those new D4DJ performers, Momoka Udagawa. And well, that's it. A super short section for them as always. I would imagine there were some new music releases, but that stuff is really hard to track down, and I'm sure most of you don't really care. However, I do actually recommend watching the stage plays if you can. They are very entertaining, and there are a few recognizable ladies in there, as I just mentioned. And so with that, it is the end of the video. I'll put some links below for relevant things, and I'll just keep the ending short. Again, if I missed anything important, let me know, and if you enjoyed, leave a like, possibly even a sub. Then for sure join me in the next one, a massive video about what every lady in the Bangdream franchise was up to in 2024. Let's hope that doesn't take too long, and I look forward to seeing you there.